What is going on, people? The name's Agenda, and welcome to my first ROBLOX Profile video and my first brief discussions video, where we will be discussing about the elements of the game like guns, attachments, maps, and others. But my first episode, we'll jump right into the assault rifles class, and first I'll be talking about the AK-12 assault rifle, which I think is very decent regardless of its low rank requirements. Real life fact, the AK-12 is actually the most recent variant of the AK family, by which the latest gun is designed in 2010 by Mikhail Kalashnikov and Vladimir Zlovin. It was produced starting in 2012 and was put into Russian military service in 2014. In Fatal Courses, the AK-12 is the first assault rifle to be unlocked at rank 5, and it is known to be very average due to its balanced positive and negative statistics. Going first with damage, the AK-12 damages the enemy by 33 hit points per shot and decreases down to 20 over time. I can say that this is very average because the AK-12 takes at least 4 or 5 shots to kill depending on the range. It is also embarrassing that 3 close range hits from the AK-12 would actually lead to the player having only 1 hit point. So people might be asking what is actually the 4-shot kill limit, and that is approximately 100 studs. Honestly, this is actually a very decent 4-shot kill range, because 100 studs is approximately set as some sort of medium range, and unfortunately, long shot kill bonuses are actually added upon kills that have a distance of more than 100 studs. So you need to deal at least 5 shots to kill an enemy with the AK-12 to get the long shot bonus. Suppressors are okay to use, but because of the minimum damage of 20 and being decreased when using suppressors, it is a bit risky to put in on the AK-12 because at long ranges it'll take 6 shots to kill instead of 5, which is actually a disadvantage towards the gun. Considering about studs, the AK-12 has a fairly decent range drop. Its damage stays at 33 until 70 studs and drops down to 20 at 100 studs, and continues to deal 20 hit points of damage for more than 120 studs. This is actually the average range for most assault rifles, but I do feel that it's slightly less of an average because its maximum range is 120 studs, and it is overwhelmed by other assault rifles which has a maximum range of 130, 150, etc. Headshot multiplier is actually the most common headshot multiplier for all guns in Final Forces, and that is 1.4x, which actually seems to be very overpowered per shot because a 1.4 headshot multiplier would increase the AK-12's base damage 3320 to 46.428. It could tell that you are able to have a 3 to 4 headshots to kill depending on the range, and just one headshot would still make a difference to kill players with this simple assault rifle. The AK-12 has 3 fire modes, namely automatic, burst, and semi. The AK-12 has automatic fire by default, or you can change fire modes by pressing the V key. Burst fire allows you to deal in 3 rounds of burst for a more controlled yet accurate fire, and semi-auto firing allows you to use the gun in semi-auto for a more accurate fire, but you will be overwhelmed in close quarters combat. Unfortunately, one of its downsides is its rate of fire at 650 rounds per minute. It's actually classified as one of the 3rd lowest rate of fire in the assault rifles class, along with the AK-74. It's actually faster than the Scar L, but it's slower than AK-1. With its low rate of fire and moderate damage, we could say that the AK-12 has an average time to kill. I could say that it's not that slow, but however it's not that fast. But one thing that I must tell that never ever use the burst fire for the AK-12, because the burst fire for it will ever chase its slow rate of fire. To be honest, I'm not going to recommend, but sure you can try the burst fire if you're actually efficient in using the burst fire for the AK-12. One of the interesting characteristics of this gun is its recoil, because it will entirely contain vertical kick per shot, by which vertical recoil is where your gun is forced to move upwards per shot. At first it's kinda annoying to have that, but for me, players could be used to it soon. But sadly, even with attachments, this recoil would still be present, but if you do use that muzzle brake, it could reduce recoil to a more tolerable measure. Let's then talk about its accuracy. Despite its annoying recoil, the accuracy of the AK-12 is good, even at long ranges, because it also has a fast recoil recovery per shot, which will lead to a very good recoil pattern. Its bullet drop is actually the average for all assault rifles, making you aiming a bit high if you'll be trying to shoot at long ranges. Hipfire is kinda moderate, but if you're used to hipfire, you could actually use vertical grip to increase hipfire stability. But if you want to balance aiming and hipfire, you could actually use angle grip if you wanted to. Its arc sights are okay, but I think its muzzle flash annoys me, and using the Z point will be more annoying, so I could recommend using other optics like the EOTech, Reflex, Coyote, etc. since its arc sights provide less zoom than any assault rifles. Its ammo size is the average at 30 per clip, or 31 if you reload it on empty. Its ammo size is 120, which makes it a long-lasting weapon, but another downside of it is actually its cartridge of 5.45 by 39mm. You can only get AK-12 ammo from all the assault rifles and the RPK and the RPK-74 LMGs. This could be bad because its ammo sources are very limited and you'll be tempted to use your sidearm once your AK-12 is empty. Its reload speed is average with a time of 2.5 seconds and an empty reload time of 3.2 seconds. Because of its low rate of fire, it could take more time before loading, which means less worry in saving ammunition. It has a moderate bullet penetration, but it won't do much to most barriers. But unfortunately, it has a low suppression rate, since it is, of course, an assault rifle. Aimed outside the way, it is actually at average, allowing it to kill enemies at moderate speeds, and its muzzle noise is somewhat loud, but it is actually okay not to use a suppressor. As a conclusion, the AK-12 is a decent weapon, and a must-have for beginners who want to use assault rifles like the M16. For me, it could still be a competitive weapon, but it is very inferior towards other assault rifles like the SCAR-L, AK-12, and the others. For its setup, I recommend using any short or medium range sights like coyote sight or even a PKA for the optics, angle grip or stubby grip for the under barrel, muzzle brake for the barrel, and relays for the accessory. I strongly advise to use the angle and a muzzle brake because it would slightly decrease its recoil. If you're planning to go stealth, I recommend using any short range optic, particularly the reflex sight, stubby grip for the under barrel, AR suppressor for the barrel, and relays for the accessory. These setups will ensure that the AK-12 will have multiple roles without even degrading its natural talent. I don't actually have any tips in using the AK-12 to better, but treat it like your usual assault rifle. It is very good in medium range combat, but still lacks an ability to close quarters in long range combat. That is all for my review. I hope you enjoyed and or learned something from my video. If you do, it's your choice to like, favorite, or subscribe. This was Legenda, and see you.